What up? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And look at you. You done stumbled upon little OTB Saints, where we bring you all the latest black and gold coverage.
Who are the Saints going to draft? Who's going to be their quarterback? What does the salary cap look like? All that information and more.
Hope you enjoy it. Like, subscribe. If the Saints are going to do anything this year, they're going to have to do well in their NFC South games, right? And I guess that's almost like, whatever, that's any team in the NFL. I guess what I'm saying that is the NFC South was garbage the last couple of years, and preseason we kind of thought the Saints probably should be the best team. They failed to be that. I'm trying to think about the most disappointing highlights. Certainly 2 years ago, losing to Carolina that last game and finishing 7-10 instead of 8-9 and missing that season win total was pretty just awful and inexcusable. What were the most disappointing NFC South losses last year?
When you had the Bucs at home early in the year, because think about it, the Bucs, they didn't find their stride till the end of the year. Like they may have been like 2-3 coming into that game.
Oh yeah, 26-9.
Oh no, they beat the crap out of you. Like it wasn't even close.
It's the game where Derek Carr had like 30 passing yards until the fourth
and then
quarter.
It was the.
I was there.
You were there.
Oh yeah, I was there.
What was that building like? Have you been in a sadder Superdome than that?
Oh yeah, when we played the Jaguars Thursday Night Football, me and Dev went to that game. We got great seats. Shout out to River Pairs.
31-24, you lose that one.
Yeah, that was, and Foster Moreau dropped the touchdown in the back of the end zone. That game. Yeah, that one was, that one. Because you should have won. The Jaguars I don't feel like they were the better team that day. We just could not execute anything.
Yeah.
And it was booing Carr, and I was, it was bad.
So last year,
Yeah, I'm looking at the box score, T-Bob. Like, you're right. Carr was efficient. He was 20. He had 23 completions, 127 yards. Yeah, that was the game he had like 35 yards passing at halftime.
Yeah, that doesn't count as efficient. That counts
like his completion percentage, like, because you were like, oh, he's throwing a lot of passes, but they were like for 2 yard
No,
gains.
that's just check down BS, no threat whatsoever. And so it is interesting. So the NFC South started horribly last year. You get dominated by Tampa at home. You lose to Atlanta in Atlanta week 12. You barely beat Carolina to begin the year. But, you did finish strong. You dominated Atlanta week 18. You beat Baker Mayfield and your Bucs Taylor week 17 in Tampa. You dominate Carolina at home in week 14, 26. So, why I'm going through all this, I'm trying to figure out where do we think the Saints rank in the NFC South. They split last year. They actually did better than I thought they did. They split with the Bucs and Falcons, and they swept the Panthers. If you're able to do that again this year,
you're 4-2.
I think you're probably like 8-9 if you do that again this year. So that's not whatever.
So it's doable. You're saying it's doable.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess none of this is very exciting, even if you do pretty well in the NFC South. I thought maybe that would be a bit better than it was. But what do you think? Are you better than the Bucs preseason?
I don't know, because I do think the Saints got a little bit better, but the Bucs were better.
That was the other question I wanted to ask. Did the Saints get better this offseason?
Maybe. It depends on what their draft picks did. I thought they drafted well. So I'm saying, if McKinstry works out and all that, I thought they drafted well. The problem is, you were worse than the Bucs last year. They didn't get a ton worse. Like, they lose Devin White, but, I mean, honestly, he fell out of favor.
He wasn't playing. Yeah, he wasn't playing anyway.
KJ Britt passed him up. They just re-signed Winfield. They signed Baker and Mike Evans to a long-term deal. They were good together.
Rashad White.
They got Rashad White. He's back again. He was really good at the back half of the year.
Yeah, but the Saints got Kubiak. Okay, from Kyle Shanahan's system.
They do. They have Kubiak. We haven't seen him yet. What's he going to be? And the Bucs haven't gotten worse. I don't know if they've gotten better, but they haven't gotten worse. How much better have the Saints gotten is the biggest question.
I think for the Saints, Jake, I think it's just all O-line.
I think so. Yeah,
it just all comes down to that. Can that O-line overplay what we think they'll be?
I mean, the O-line, if they don't protect, Carr's not a quarterback that can throw off
He's
the mark.
Especially
He's
bad.
Not. And certainly when he gets pressure from the interior, he just turns into an even worse quarterback. And so the offensive line, like if you give him time, he's been in the league long enough. He can make plays down the field. But if you don't, if you're not really special up front, then he's not the same quarterback, and you're not going to be special up front. And so I start to look, as y'all were talking, what the Bucs lost, they didn't lose a ton. To Taylor's point, You add in a couple of really nice players as well through the draft, and I don't know that the Bucs are going to go away. Now, they're all going, for them, it's all going to fall on, is Baker Mayfield going to be the same guy? Can he replicate what he did a year ago? Because that was the reason that they ended up being who they were.
I can actually see you. In the most optimistic view, I could see you maybe getting to 9 wins going into the Week 18 matchup versus the Bucs.
Very optimistic,
but
though.
Yes, but that would take. I think that would take a 4-1 NFC South record at that point, and you'd have to push that to 5-1 to get to 10 wins. And so that gets back to our conversation about who he thinks best South, because everybody seems to think it's just the Atlanta Falcons, right? Kirk Cousins, without a doubt, the best quarterback in the conference. They'd probably go Kirk, Baker, Carr, Bryce Young at this point. I imagine Bijan Robinson should be much better if,
hey, we still know because
you actually play him, give him the ball.
Old Art didn't really give him the ball, didn't feature him much.
I love that the Steelers went and snagged Arthur Smith. They're like, oh wait, did he just put together, the only offense that was comparably bad to Pete Carmichael in terms of being old school and not using creative concepts and having Kyle Pitts and Bijan Robinson and not featuring the ball? Yeah, hell yeah. Bring him to Pittsburgh.
To replace Matt Canada.
Yeah, to replace Matt Canada. Mike Tomlin's got a little Kirk Ferentz in him. You know what I'm saying?
A little bit.
Very consistent. Absolutely gets the most out of his players. Awesome coach in a lot of ways. But I'll be damned if sometimes it doesn't seem like he hates offense.
Well, and look who they brought in. They were great at one time, but he brings in Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. Nobody wanted Russell Wilson and Justin Fields.
No.
I think Justin Fields got a raw deal. I think there's something in his game that with the right coach, right situation,
hell yeah,
he could have a very impactful role in the NFL. Now, Russell Wilson, washed.
Well, I mean, look, yeah, with Justin Fields, it's definitely, it's enticing, right? Yeah. I would love to take a shot on Justin Fields. If nothing else, it's exciting, even if he ends up sucking. Who do you think's better? Or do we think, though, the Falcons, because of Kirk Cousins, does that move alone? And I'm kind of a Raheem Morris believer, though. There's, we'll see how that goes with him as being the head man in charge. But sometimes change is just inherently good. Do we think the Falcons are unquestioned the best team in the NFC South?
I think they have the best weapons. They have the best roster as well, not just weapons on offense. I mean, you look at who they have at receiver, and Drake London and Darnell Mooney and Rondale Moore, and they've got a good offensive front, and you hope you can get the most out of Kyle Pitts, and that's going to be one thing. Kirk Cousins, as a veteran leader, he needs to make sure he gets the most out of Kyle Pitts, and the play callers, obviously, with Bijan Robinson and Pitts. I mean, that's a lot of weapons. That is a lot of firepower on one side of the football. And they got a couple of pieces that very well on defense, and Caden Ellis and Onyemata to go along with a Grady Jarrett, a Jesse Bates, a A.J. Terrell. I mean, they on paper right now, I think it's hard to deny them not being the best team in the NFC South.
Taylor, I saw you crinkling up your nose. You have a minute to talk about your Bucs.
No, I'd go Falcons as well,
okay.
Only because all of these teams were so equal a year ago, and we talked about it. The Bucs didn't get worse. They didn't get a ton better. What are the Saints going to be? The Falcons, I think Kirk Cousins does put them over the top. Everybody has new coaching, right? You don't know what Morris is going to do. But Dave Canales is not there with Baker as OC last year. They worked really well together. Now they bring in Liam Cohen, who we worked with the Rams, but is that going to translate over? How are Carr and Kubiak going to work together? I think that Kirk Cousins has experienced the fact that they were all so close last year, and you have a significant improvement at quarterback. I think that puts the Falcons over the top.
Yeah, that's fair, right? With the other teams, it's you can debate whether or not they improved. Signing Cousins is probably for sure an improvement. So tough sledding for your New Orleans Saints. Wow, just amazing black and gold takes right there, Jake.
I don't think I've ever heard any takes that are better than the two guys that just gave you that take.
And you can keep getting them by going ahead and liking, subscribing, ringing the bell to get notifications when we post. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next OTB Saints.